Ms. Bruton, you claim to be 100% positive that Mr. Martin is not your son's biological father because your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Richardson, is.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say today's DNA test will allow you to get rid of Mr. Martin and to finally reconcile your relationship with Mr. Richardson. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Martin, you say Ms. Bruton led you to believe that you had fathered her 7-month-old son, Logan. You claim Ms. Bruton kept the baby from you in hopes that she could build a family with Mr. Richardson and not you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Today, you believe the DNA results will prove you are the biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Bruton, why are you so sure Mr. Martin is not your child's father?
First of all, Logan looks just like Anthony. They have the same ears, eyes, nose, and he don't favor Mr. Martin at all.
So
that's why I'm sure.
Just by looks alone?
Yeah, by looks alone.
But Mr. Martin, you disagree?
Yes, because I know I had unprotected sex around the time that she conceived. She might say I didn't have it as many times she said I did, but I know it's a fact. And
No.
it's 99.7%
No, Your Honor.
that it is mine.
No, Your Honor. We only had unprotected sex twice.
No.
That's it.
Your Honor.
Twice.
Your Honor.
In my
said
apartment, twice.
Your Honor, it was 3 at her apartment, 2 at her family member house, 1 at my house, and 1 in the car.
You know it only takes one time anyway.
Yes, it only takes
All
one
right.
time.
So you say this is your child, Mr. Martin?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you know that for certain?
Yes, Your Honor.
In the court papers, you say she led you to believe it at first.
Yes,
How did she lead you to believe that?
Because she called me and said she was pregnant, so I was happy and stuff. And then, like, after 2 weeks after she told me, she just like disappeared. Ain't answer my phone calls, ain't do nothing. Then,
So you're saying she called you to tell you I'm pregnant and you're the father at first?
Yes, at first.
Did you call him and say I'm pregnant and you're the father?
First of all, I called both of them because I wasn't for sure who was the father because I slept with both of them around the same time.
Okay, so you do admit his testimony is true.
Yes.
Take me back. I want to understand this relationship. So how do you get to the point where you're in the relationship with Mr. Richardson, but you're having sex unprotected with Mr. Martin?
Okay, me and Mr. Richardson, we was having our ups and downs in our relationship. And so when I met Mr. Martin, I confided him as a friend, and then our friendship grew into a sexual relationship. But it wasn't nothing more than that. My heart always been with Anthony.
All right, so you were always in love with Mr. Richardson, but you ended up cheating on him with Mr. Martin.
Yes.
You also did not use protection.
Correct.
All right, and so you knew you were just the go-to guy, Mr. Martin, or did you think you were in a relationship?
Nah, I was just the go-to guy.
So you knew that?
Yeah, I knew that. I really wanted me a child at the time, so I was trying to get her pregnant, and I did tell her that.
You were trying to get somebody pregnant that you
pregnant.
didn't want to be in a relationship with?
Yeah, but I didn't want to be in a relationship with her.
But you were trying to get her pregnant?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you just gonna go out and just make a baby with anybody?
No, not with anybody, but
that's
I
what
gotta get to know you, though.
Okay, but you're not even in a relationship with her.
No.
Nor do you want to be in a relationship.
No, Your
But
Honor.
you're going to go make a baby. You want to purposefully make a baby with her.
That's what
Yes.
And how old are you?
19.
19 years old.
Yeah.
Mr. Martin, really? That's just irresponsible with a capital I. Anyway, at some point you realize you're pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
You say you call both men.
Yes.
Because you know.
Because I knew if one of them had to be the father.
All right, so when you went to the doctor and confirmed you were pregnant, did your doctor give you a window of conception? Did they give you a date?
Yes, April the 8th.
April the 8th, all right. When you were intimate with Mr. Richardson, that's who you claim was the father, right?
Yes, that's
Do you
who I know
remember
was
when
the
you were
father.
intimate with him?
Yes, Your Honor, April the 7th.
Okay, so very close to.
Yes, very close.
What? So that's Richardson. Now I have to ask you, when were you intimate with Mr. Martin?
April the 10th and April the 11th. That's it.
Oh,
not
wow.
true.
Yes,
So
it
not
is true. We
So
only
not
had
true.
sex twice.
Listen, that's so not true.
You're disputing those days?
Yeah, yes,
What,
yes.
When
I'm
do
not
you say
disputing.
you were intimate?
Before the 7th. It was like on the 5th, maybe. That was the first
That's
time.
only
that
So
was-
you're
Okay.
saying
I'm
you were
saying-
intimate with her before and after this
Yeah,
date of
before,
conception?
yeah, yeah,
well,
yeah.
let's just be certain.
Before
What she has already testified to puts you in the window of conception regardless.
Yes.
So, in many ways, you in there.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are a possible father of this child.
I don't know who he think he slept with more than twice, but it sure wasn't me. We only had sex twice.
So at the point that you find out you're pregnant, you call them both, you're honest, you say to both of them that there could potentially be...
I didn't tell them about each other. I just told them that I'm pregnant. And
so you didn't tell the other man that there was another...
I had to keep it a secret because I was in love with Mr. Richardson and I didn't want him to find out about Mr. Martin.
If you were so in love with him, why was we having sexual relationship when you was with him? That's no way of showing love.
Because me and Mr. Richardson was having our problems, Your Honor, and I didn't feel any love and attention from Mr. Richardson, so I got it from Mr. Martin.
Okay, then that means you wasn't in love with him.
Yes,
you were just saying you was in love.
That doesn't mean anything, Mr. Martin.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell. So who stepped up for you during this pregnancy?
Mr. Richardson.
Really?
Yes, I was trying my best to avoid Mr. Martin because he's very messy, trying to break up me and Mr. Richardson's relationship.
I didn't.
But when you told him he was a potential father...
Yes.
Wait, Mr. Martin, did you try to be there? Were you trying to go to...
Yeah, he tried, but I've tried to... No, I wasn't hearing it. I wasn't seeing it.
At first she did. I was trying to do that. But then after them 2 weeks, she just disappeared. It was like nothing else.
Where did you go?
She just
the phone. I just wasn't answering the phone. Every time he'd come see a family member of mine, I wouldn't be around it because I didn't want to see him or have nothing to do with him. I was worrying about my pregnancy and being with Mr. Richardson.
So you admit in court today that you purposefully just really shut him out?
Yes, I did.
Because you wanted the relationship with Mr. Richardson?
Yes, the one
I love. And after 2 weeks, you disappeared?
Yes. I did.
You just faded to black?
Yes.
Ms. Bruton, once you faded to black and you admittedly cut Mr. Martin out of the experience of being present during your pregnancy, even though you said to him you are possibly this child's father, what happens when you give birth? Who's at the hospital?
Mr. Richardson was at the hospital. I have no idea where Mr. Martin was because we wasn't in contact with each other.
And who signed the birth certificate?
Mr. Richardson. I didn't even let Mr. Martin know when I had Logan.
You didn't?
No.
You didn't think he had a right to know that the baby was coming when it potentially could be his?
No, because I wanted Mr. Richardson to know all of that. I didn't want Mr. Martin to know none of that. Because I don't want him to be Logan's father.
So you allowed Mr. Richardson to sign the birth certificate because you think he's the father or because you hope he's the father?
I think he's the father and I'm hoping he's the father.
Both. So now he's legally responsible for this child.
Yes.
When you sign a birth certificate, you are acknowledging paternity and you are taking responsibility legally for this child. And now you're in paternity court with another man that says he's also this child's father, and the reason why he believes that is because you told him.
Father because he wants kids so bad, but Logan is not his. That's why I want him to know.
He most definitely is. He is.
Okay.
Why do you think she's denying that you are Logan's father?
I mean, I really believe that she's trying to hurt me deep down inside. But
so is it about hurting you, or do you think it's about just keeping the relationship with Mr. Richardson?
Both.
Mr. Richardson, I want to hear from you. Please stand. Step up to the podium. Do you believe you're Logan's father?
I know.
You do?
I feel that way, yes.
When did you realize that there was another man in the picture? Because she says, I didn't tell Mr. Richardson about Mr. Martin because I didn't want him to know.
I actually found out 4 months after Logan was born.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you're in the hospital, you're thinking that without a doubt, this is my child that's being born today.
Yes.
And that's why you signed the birth certificate.
Yes.
But it wasn't until 4 months after this child was born, you found out about Mr. Martin?
Yes.
How'd you find out?
Well, one day we was sitting down one morning and she came out and told me, like, oh, I've been sleeping with Mr. Martin. You know, at the time of
That's not exactly how it went, Your Honor.
How'd it go?
I had suspicions of Mr. Richardson cheating on me. And so when I felt like he was hurting me, I decided to hurt him, to get back at him. So that's when I came and told him that it's a possibility that Mr. Martin is Logan's father.
Nah, you had suspicion of me because of things that you do.
Ms. Bruton, you playing these men like a game of chess. So once you hear that, Mr. Richardson, what was your response?
It really tore me up. you know, because I've been with her, you know, throughout that pregnancy, you know, been there, signed the birth certificate and everything, you know, held him in my arms, you know, doing what I know the right thing to do for a child that I know that's mine. I mean, he looks just like me. His eyes, his head.
Lip.
I know that's my son.
Look at that head.
He look just like me. You can't deny it.
Just like my family member when he was born.
What family member?
Explains itself. He look just like me.
Martin?
My baby picture, him.
No.
Let's just be frank. Let's just call it like it is. At the point a woman says to you, I was intimate with another man during the time I conceived Logan. I did it. He could potentially be the father of this child. Doesn't some doubt set in? Have you ever just said to yourself, this may not be my child?
Yes, it did. But more so, and he is my child.
Yeah, he is your child.
You know-
Well, under the law, he most certainly is, because
You
you,
know,
signed the birth certificate.
Yes, because that's right.
Even if he didn't sign the birth certificate, Logan is
So
still
it doesn't
Mr.
matter.
Richardson's son because I know for a fact. I just know.
You don't know.
Yes, I do.
But
That's why
Mr.
we
Martin
today.
is standing here saying that Logan looks like him and one of his family members.
Honestly, Your Honor, do Logan look anything
that
like
lip.
Mr. Martin?
Look at that lip, man.
He got my
That
lip.
bottom lip. That
He got
bottom,
my
look at that
lip.
bottom
Those
lip.
are my
Look at that
lip.
bottom lip.
That's me right there.
Ms. Bruton,
That's my son right there.
You know, I completely understand how you want to stand in court today and just say, I am positive that this is Mr. Richardson's child, because you've made it clear
Yes.
that you don't want to be with Mr. Martin. You never have. You've always wanted to be with Mr. Richardson because that's the man you love.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you purposefully cut him out.
Yes.
But there's this little smirk you doing and this little smile. I'm hoping it's out of nervousness and not out of your failure to appreciate the severity of this situation. Because ultimately, this is really your fault.
Well-
And look, everything that has happened here today is a product of your intention. You didn't just slip on a banana peel and end up in the bed with
But
Mr.
Your
Martin by
Honor,
accident.
Your Honor.
You're saying all of this is it's purposeful. And that disturbs me.
Well, Your Honor, I'm human.
So what
I
I'm
mean,
saying is,
I'm
once
gonna make
you
mistakes.
look, when I see you kind of smirking and laughing, it irks me.
It only does do that because
Men-
Mr. Martin
no, no,
thinks
no.
he's the father. That's the only reason why.
Miss Bruton, of course Mr. Martin thinks he's the father. You
Well, I
told
wish he would
him.
get it out his head.
You told him.
Yeah, I
he was.
told him, but when Logan came, Logan don't look nothing like Mr. Martin, so I know it's Mr. Richardson's
And
son.
now you're here and you're saying you're 100%
Yes, I'm 100% positive.
that Mr.
Yes, you just
Richardson
want to
is
mess
not
up
what
our
she is.
family, Mr. Martin.
I can care
Yes,
le-
you
I can
do.
care less about her
I just
relationship.
wish
I
you
got
would
my
just
own
back
relationship.
up.
Oh, okay,
I
Miss
got my
Dave,
own
let me
relationship.
understand this. Let me understand this. Are you annoyed by him because he thinks he's the father, or are you annoyed by
yes.
him because you think he's trying to break up you and
Both.
Mr. Richardson?
Both. I'm annoyed by him because he thinks he's the father. I'm annoyed by him because he's trying to break up what me and Anthony got.
I know that's my son.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
Ain't no way.
All right, I think it's time for the results. I'm done.
No way. I don't see it. No way. That's my son.
Thank you, Jerome. You're welcome. Mr. Richardson, I have to ask you this. If he's not your biological child, are you going to stay in the relationship and try to make it work?
And right now, I really can't answer that. You know, I really can't,
Really?
because we have to sit down and really.
You see that, Miss Bruton?
You know, and really
it doesn't
have
feel
to-
too good to be caught off guard, does
You know,
it?
and be put.
No,
Because
it
you didn't
doesn't,
expect that
but-
answer. You didn't expect that answer.
No, I didn't. Yeah.
I know. I could see it in your eyes. All right, these results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Bruton versus Martin, as it pertains to 7-month-old Logan Richardson, and as to whether Mr. Richardson or Mr. Martin is the biological father, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Richardson, you are not the father.
What?
Mr. Martin,
I told you.
What?
I told you.
You
I
are the
told
father.
You. I told you. I knew what it was.
No,
I already
that
know
is
this.
not possible.
I
That
know
is
this,
not
man. I
possible.
knew this,
man.
I
That
knew
is
this.
not
I knew
possible.
this. I knew this.
I want to
Your Honor,
read it.
Mr.
my
Martin,
case is
you
red.
are
My
the
case is
father.
red.
No. No,
So
that is not possible.
we need to get something
He don't look
functioning
nothing like him,
with
so
the
how
birth
is he the
certificate.
father?
Miss Bruton, I realize you thought you were playing a game of chess, but the DNA is not a game. You may be able to manipulate a man or two men, but the DNA does not lie, sweetheart. Mr. Martin is your child's biological father. And Mr. Richardson, I have to say, I'm very sorry because I knew you did not see that coming.
No, I didn't.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Martin. I have to say to you, congratulations, because I know you truly wanted this child to be yours, and baby Logan is, in fact, your biological child.
Yes.
I don't believe that.
You don't want to believe it.
That's all it is.
You played the game so hard, you played yourself, baby.
I can't believe this, man. I can't
I
believe
don't know
this,
what
man.
to say.
There's nothing you can say.
I'm overjoyed right now.
Because at the end of the day, you played the game so hard, you played yourself, but you played your child too. Mr. Milton, you have filed a paternity entrapment suit against the defendant. You claim that she is out to pin a baby on you because she's had a childhood crush on you that she just can't get over. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lewis, you contend that you are 100% certain that Mr. Milton is your daughter Desire's biological father and claim that his meddling girlfriend is the only reason he is denying her. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Milton, explain to me this paternity entrapment suit, right?
Yes.
Explain.
Well, you know, I met the defendant when I was a kid, and I feel like she's been plotting on me ever since then. Like,
Since you were a kid?
Yes. You know what? Ever since I was younger, I always had somebody else in my life. And she always came around. She knew that. I always had somebody else, but she always wanted to be around, calling me, coming over, all that. So, like I say, I feel like she had ulterior motives.
So you
from the
believe,
gate.
okay, so you believe she's been pursuing you.
Yes.
And that was part of her plot.
As soon as she got the opportunity, she got it.
Excuse me, ma'am. This is what really happened. His grandmother and my cousin came to my grandmother's house with him and his brother. I was like, ooh, he cute. I told his grandmother that. She introduced us. I started talking to David. And when I started talking to David,
She never left me alone. How about that? She been chasing me ever since.
I
She
have
never
not been
left me
chasing
alone.
him.
As soon
I
as she
have
heard
not-
I was out, like I said, she came running, heels on.
Excuse
Yes.
me, I'm not gonna plot on you. Seriously.
So-
Because when God made one man, he made more.
But you're not even
It's not
with a
that
man.
serious, David.
You're with a woman.
It's not that serious,
You're not even
David.
with a man.
I've been there for my baby.
But you're with a
4
woman,
years.
though. You're
Why you wait
conflicted.
4 years?
So you met when you were younger,
Yes.
and you all liked each other.
Yes.
Yes.
So when you were in other relationships, you say Miss Lewis used to always come around.
Always
Were
come
you coming
around.
around, Miss Lewis?
Yes,
When he
ma'am.
was in other relationships?
Yeah.
Coming
Hello.
around for what? Trying to
No,
be
because
with him?
it was my
Trying to be
family.
with me. She was
My
trying to
family
be with
was
me.
close with his family, and he know his mom loves me, and he know how close his family is with me.
How did you get to the place where you all ended up sleeping together?
Okay, with that, I seen his cousin at my kid's school. She was like, little Dave getting out, because my girlfriend, I've been with her for almost 8 years, ma'am.
Okay.
And she was like, you should have another baby. I want you to have a baby.
It's a plot, you hear?
Hold on, I want you to
my
have,
God.
let me finish. Let me finish, it ain't no plot. Because if I could plot it, it wouldn't be you. Believe that. It wouldn't be you.
Hello.
It would not be you.
Hello.
It shouldn't take 4 years, David.
Okay, hold on. What I believe both of you are testifying to is that this was never even a boyfriend and girlfriend
No.
relationship.
No.
Early, when we were
This
young,
was
that's it.
just a friendship and you knew each other through your family.
Okay, that
Hello.
would be fine. You can say friendship.
And you
that's
had a
fine.
history. Okay, I'm getting to the point now where, all right, you see him again.
Mm-hmm.
The woman you're with says, I want to have another baby.
Yeah, she was like, I want you to have another baby so we can raise together as a newborn. So when that happened or whatever, his cousin was like, David's getting out. I was like, I'm just go over there.
It sounds,
I just want
it sounds plot-esque.
Okay.
I just wanted to say,
Hello.
Miss Lewis,
Okay, that's fine.
You wanted to have
so I
another
was
baby.
like, okay. So I was like, okay, and we happened to mess around, and he
What
wasn't even all
woman
that.
does it?
To
She
be
told
honest,
me
it was
after
not all
sex.
that.
She
So I
told-
didn't even
it's
know.
not
He
all that,
told
but
me.
why you tell a man after sex, I conceive easy? I'm like, It's over right here. Fun over. End of the
Because
night.
after he told
like
me,
that.
I said, yes,
see
I'm
me-
fertile. Like, yes, I can
Wow.
get
No,
pregnant.
she said that. Then 3 weeks later, she showed with a diagram, whatever. I was like, wow, the baby.
Wait. Okay, Mr. Milton, slow down.
I'm sorry,
Wait,
Your Honor, I'm
slow
sorry.
down, because I want to understand what's going on here.
Okay.
And look, so far, like I said, it's a little plot-esque. I mean, when you start sentences with, that's the plot. That's the plot look.
Okay.
Okay, but really, I mean, I'm being very honest. You talked to your partner, you thought about having another baby, the opportunity presented itself, or either you created the opportunity to go over and see him, and you all have unprotected sex. Is that the testimony?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And it was sex one time, or how many times? It was just
That
this one
time,
day?
First time it was one time. Then after the baby was born, of course, you know, we was getting a little more familiar, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it was more than one time. But that's after the baby was
But
born, though.
I'm just concerned with the conception. Thank you for the
It's
extra
one
info.
time. One time. Thank you.
But just the conception, this one night that we are concerned with, that deals with Desire's paternity.
Yes.
This night, you go over, you have sex, you don't use protection.
Right. Yeah.
And basically what has been testified is that
She told me she was already pregnant. Basically.
I told him 2 weeks later because I ain't got
the
sick.
same night we had,
I ain't got sick.
conceive easily. Come on, Your Honor. Basically, already told me she was pregnant.
So you're saying that very night.
She told me she was pregnant.
Oh, he is lying. I waited 2
you
weeks.
have
No,
sex-
he
you have
is
sex
lying.
with a man. You
Man,
have
because
sex
when I
with a
went
man
to
the
his
same
mother's
night.
house, when I found out I was pregnant, I went to his mother's house with papers, and your mama was happy.
Yeah, with
Quit
papers
lying.
3 weeks later.
Quit lying.
The baby's already formed in
Hold
the
on.
stomach.
How long after this night of sex did you realize you were pregnant and have the paper?
It was about 2 weeks, ma'am.
So 2 weeks
Yes.
after
Yes.
you have sex, you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Milton, how did you find out Ms. Lewis was pregnant?
She came over to my mother's house with a sonogram and
She had a sonogram when she
Yes.
came to your
yes, my
mother's house.
Yes.
2 weeks after you had
Yes.
sex with her?
I saw a little baby, black and white, in a sonogram picture. She's like, don't he look like
Ultrasound.
you? Ultrasound. That's what she said. Then she said, don't the baby look like you? I don't even, he ain't got no face or nothing. How the baby look like you?
He
Like,
is
for real. I swear to
lying.
God, like,
He
like,
lying. Not
it's
at
so
no-
crazy,
What
man.
is man
oh
lying?
My God,
Ooh, you
man.
The baby does have a face.
Yeah, and they do got features. Like, yes, you can't
But I
threaten
understand what you're saying. You're saying in this small sonogram, you could not see anything at that point.
And she was already saying the baby looked like me.
Okay. So I want to understand, Ms. Lewis, so you brought the ultrasound picture for him to see in the black and white photo?
Ma'am, he lying.
I'm not lying. I don't
He
make
got
this
2
stuff
weeks.
up. How can
I
I
did
make
not
this
bring
stuff
no
up like this?
ultrasound picture.
I don't- like I
He is
said.
lying.
Okay, so what did you have at that time?
I had the paper because I went to the urgent care, got the pregnancy test, and I had the paper showing that I was pregnant. It said positive.
Okay.
That's what it was, ma'am. It wasn't no ultrasound.
All right. So, Ms. Lewis, you take the paperwork over to his family,
Yeah.
and you say his mother is happy.
Yes.
What is the response you received from Mr. Milton?
He was all smiling and stuff. He was happy.
Were you happy, Mr. Milton?
Yes, I was.
You were? All right. At what point do your doubts kick in?
When her girlfriend called my mother and said she married an African dude and she was having sex with him.
Oh, you're lying, ma'am.
How am I supposed to feel?
Wait. Ms. Lewis,
Yes.
are you married to another man?
I was married.
You were married to another man?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so were you having sex with that man as well?
No,
If you're
Your
married to
Honor.
him.
No, Your Honor, I was
Say the
not.
plot thickens,
So
man.
why would
Oh.
your partner...
Because she was mad at me at the time, so she called Mr. Milton and told.
She didn't call me, she called my mother. Let's be
Same
real.
thing.
So
Your mom did the same thing.
how old was Desire when this call happened?
Young, very young. You know, like I was really trying to be there and to.
But
you know,
now Desire is 4.
Yeah.
I mean, are you in her life at all?
No,
When's the last time you saw her?
it's been a few years.
A few years.
I got proof. This man talking crazy about my baby. He calls her ugly. Oh,
No,
God.
like I called her one time. Look, listen.
She
straight
looks
up.
like you, so
Listen,
he calling
listen,
himself
listen.
ugly.
One time, look,
She
you ain't gonna
looks
say I
like
insult
you.
my character. Me and her, we having an argument. You know what I'm saying? I get mad just to make her mad. Then she go back and tell the little kid that, what type of person are you? If me and you having a, she went to go tell the little girl. I
Tell
called her
the
ugly.
little girl.
Yeah,
tell her
what type
that.
of person are
I
you?
did
Yes,
not
you did.
tell
You
her
sit right
that.
there and tell
Well,
her.
it's bad
tell
enough.
her
It's
that.
bad enough. You shouldn't be calling a child.
I have proof,
Right.
ma'am.
Let me see
Your Honor,
this.
I was just trying to get under her skin, Your Honor. You know what I mean? You know how you mad and two people bickering? Like I said.
But that's not about the child. You don't call a child names. I want to understand what this evidence is. Miss Lewis, what is this?
Of him calling his own daughter ugly.
This is a message from Mr. Milton. You had what?
I think that day, like, I had asked him for some money or something.
Okay,
help.
for desire. And then Mr. Milton responds, got 100 in my pocket. I won't give you 1 red cent, LOL. And then the next line, you and your ugly kid. What? I don't have no kids. Now that's ignorant.
Hey, ma'am.
But you gotta understand the
ignorant.
Your Honor,
circumstances.
he said, Your Honor, the other day he said the doctor told him he can't have no kids because he been trying to have a baby with Miss Tomato Head over there for a long time.
Watch your mouth, watch
And
your
I
mouth.
told him,
What's wrong
Hold on,
with that?
listen.
Hater.
We gonna be respectful in this courtroom.
yes, ma'am.
I think it's interesting that you quick to defend somebody, but you calling a child ugly.
But you understand?
No.
she been harassing me.
No.
I was mad.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That's
No, it's-
between you and her.
Right.
And you did sleep with her.
Yes.
And you didn't use protection.
You're right.
So you potentially could be Desire's father.
So can her husband.
So maybe that's what we're trying to figure out today. Who are the other possibilities? But the point is you don't call a child names. So, Ms. Lewis, I do have to ask you about that. You admit you had a husband.
Yes, ma'am. You know, he was like a friend. He asked me to marry him. I said yes. Young and dumb. That's what it was. Never. I wasn't
Then why you
attracted
go over
to
and
him
have a
like
baby?
that.
Why you
Why you so
about him?
worried about it? I ain't
Why you
marrying
have a baby
you.
with him, for
Why
real?
are you worried
You
about
come over and play
who
with
I'm
this man.
married
Come
to?
over here.
Why is he so worried? I don't
Like I said, why you didn't have
But
a
Ms.
baby with
Lewis,
him?
I do have to say,
Hey, why you have a baby with him?
if you get
I didn't have no kids.
Hold on. I do have to say, I mean, in terms of Mr. Milton's doubt,
Right.
if your partner calls his family and says, now you know she has a husband,
Right.
I mean, it is reasonable to assume that you would also be having sexual relationships with your husband. And if his testimony that he saw a sonogram, an ultrasound at 2 to 3 weeks is true, and you also had a husband, then he is very confused about the
Hello.
paternity. I want to hear from your witness, sir. Stand, ma'am, please, and step up to the podium.
Yes, Your Honor.
State your name for the court.
My name is Tiana Daniels,
Ms. Daniels, you are,
David's girlfriend. We're in a committed relationship.
so what are your opinions? You do not believe that is your boyfriend's biological daughter.
No, I do not.
And what do you know about this situation that would lead you to believe this?
I really just think she don't know either, because every time she comes around, she never brings the child. She brings herself.
She's always
And the
calling
audience.
me and audience friends and stuff. Like, it's never about the kid. It's never
It
about
is
the
about
kid.
my daughter.
It's
My
never
daughter-
about
my
the kid.
kids
Every
come
time she
first.
come around,
Like,
it's never about the kid. Like, seriously.
Well, maybe after
Me.
you call the child a name, she's scared to bring the baby until she approaches you because she doesn't know how you're going to react to the child. So how long have you been with your current girlfriend?
About 3.5 years.
Have you all been trying to conceive?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you have not been successful thus far.
Yes.
All right. So now that even furthers your doubt more in terms of Desire's paternity, because you feel like up until this point, you haven't even been able to conceive with your girlfriend. Maybe this is not your biological
Yes, Your
child.
Honor.
Understood. Thank you so much, Ms. Daniels. You may take a seat.
Yes, Your Honor.
So before I go to the results, are you willing to be in Desire's life if she is your biological daughter?
Only if she comes with me with a proper attitude, correct, because she gets under my skin. I'm not gonna deal with nobody that gets under my skin.
Well, you're getting under my skin because that if it's your biological daughter, your involvement in her life, it can't be contingent.
So I gotta be
upon-
crucified too?
No,
She's gonna
it's
try
not-
to crucify me.
Look. It's not about being crucified. It's about being there for a 4-year-old girl. At this point, at 4 years old, you know if you have a daddy or not. All the other kids are saying daddy. Their daddy's picking them up from preschool. Their daddy's taking them to the park. She's at an age now where she knows. She knows. And I can see tears in her mother's eyes.
You ask her what's her dad's name? She say David. I tell my daughter that. She not dumb. She loves her dad.
Yeah, and I have
might
no
not know you
connection.
like that, but
I
she
swear to God,
know
like,
him.
I have no connection with this girl. We can have connections, but she chooses not to. She don't want to. Every time I call her, she has.
So you feel like as you try to establish a relationship or a rapport,
He did
which
say he
would be
want
conducive to getting to know the child or at least sifting through this paternity issue, you feel like it's always met with combativeness.
Yes, and I asked her, I begged her, I said, please, look, let's get along. She don't understand it. No. I'm not gonna deal with that. I feel like I should have a life too. You ain't gonna crucify me.
Let's get some answers. Then we can figure out where we go from here. Jerome, I'm ready for the results. Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Milton versus Lewis, when it comes to 4-year-old Desire Lewis, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Milton, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Had
you.
to know. I had to know.
You.
It's
God,
my right.
God,
It's my
I
right.
told you.
You planted
All
seeds
right.
of doubt. You
All
planted
right.
seeds of doubt. It's my right to know. You planted that.
Okay, look. Just take a minute and take a breath.
I told you.
How does that feel to finally know for
I
sure?
feel great. No more doubts. No more African men's in the picture. None of that.
When you first found out about Miss Lewis's pregnancy, you admitted in open court that you were happy.
I will.
I want to get back to that page of this book.
She's not gonna allow that.
No. That's it. But see, let me tell you something. You cannot live in that level of negative expectation and expect a positive result.